Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 2 of Romance of the Three Kingdoms 8 Remake. Last episode we started off as Louis Boo. We did a lot of tutorial stuff, a lot of it. So today we're going to jump into something else. So we covered missions, we covered interactions, we covered relationships and all these little things up here. Up the top we can see the year, 190 Feb, what season it is, spring. And we can see the values of our city, so we can see at a glance how well our cultivation, commerce, repair, defence and science and public order are going. Underneath we can see our action points, our gold, our reputation. Underneath that we can see something called tails. So tails are various things. You can get different categories of them. So these kind of gold yellow ones are advice from someone called Simahwe, who is Master Water Mirror, I think. And he will basically give you more tutorial stuff, more explanation, and some basic starting. You get these advice ones at every scenario, the start of every single scenario. And it's worth doing them because you get some nice decent bonuses and from rewards from doing them. They're just to give you some stuff to basically start you off, essentially. You can get requests, which are more so city specific, and they're little things that can happen in the city that give you rewards, reputation boosts, sometimes money, sometimes experience, sometimes a special item, stuff like that. And then we have the red ones, which are historical events. So you can see here we have the anti-Dongzhuo coalition. It starts in 191 July, and we have 17 months left to trigger it. So we'll start off with water mirror lessons. So you can see here, we can see what they are. Simahwe visits to explain the importance of expanding one's circle of friends. We're only going to watch, see these events, tales, we're only going to do them once, and then once I've done them once, we're going to skip them. So the result, we can see the result, but note, the results may change depending on the situation and choices made. We'll get into that in a bit. So it basically tells you what's going to happen. So Louis Boo, us, we will get, if we do this, we will get one of the wisdoms. Simahwe, Master Water Mirror. Do you have any trustworthy friends? You can never have too many. If your relationship is trusting or higher, your friends can work and train with you, and you'll receive more significant benefits than if you worked alone. Easiest way to do this is to interact with them and discuss. If you're in a hurry, you can also send them things they enjoy as gifts. Interact, discuss, and give gifts. Yes, give it a try, and once you've gained a few, maybe you'll show up again. So there. So he advocates the importance of expanding one circle of friends, and we get 3 mission wisdom. So let's look at the 3 mission wisdom we just got. So if we go down to home, and we come down to learn, use wisdom to learn skills and tactics. I'm sorry, Xiong, I've decided that I'm doing this. So we can see we've got infantry, cavalry, archers, ships, plot, support, and divination. These are tactics that we can use in battles. Skills, on the other hand, is what we can use in things like plots and in the city. So we've got mission, ingenuity, troop category, and military. You can see here we have 3 mission wisdom because of that simple thing that we just done. We need 7 to get one of these. Right, so let's go back to the tales. Water mirror lessons public. So he advocates the importance of improving public attitude. This will tell us about inquiries and public attitude in general. Who's come to visit? Have you been paying attention to public attitude? Some facilities within the city have a public attitude, and it can be raised by performing an inquiry. The higher the public attitude, the more efficient your missions will become. So basically, the higher the public attitude, the better you will be able to complete missions at that facility. Try raising one of the facilities to maximum public attitude. And once he's done it, he will give us a symbol of friendship as a reward. You don't have to do these, but I always find them really nice just to do it and get some nice easy bonuses. So now he's going to talk to us and explain about wisdom and courage and reputation. He's going to talk about the importance of increasing your martial and cultural reputation. Have you been paying attention to your reputation? Martial, cultural, and notoriety. If you wish to raise your martial and cultural, you can leap into battle or get involved in government affairs, but it won't get you far. The important thing is to stand out, such as duels and debates. A great deal of attention can be earned by besting an opponent with higher martial or cultural fame than your own in a duel or debate. And you could also do requests from people in the tavern. The rewards aren't much, but it helps. Try raising either your martial or cultural fame a little, and we'll get a small reward. And we have sympathy. So talk about destiny, synergetic, antagonistic bonds. Can we? I thought we could no, we can. I thought we could get a tooltip to go over synergetic and antagonistic and explain them, but I can't do that. Sympathy is required to link. Yep, we talked about this last episode. So he wants us to form sympathy with someone. And because we have increased our reputation, well, we started out with a reputation of 2,550, we can just do this and we get 1,000 gold. Yeah, so you've done it, you've spread your reputation, and you will gain access to different tales because of your fame, and it'll become easier to meet more officers and grow close to them. And it might even be a good idea to take them to maximum. And 1,000 gold. Oh, he's forgotten about notoriety. Increases through requests and slander, and it allows you to loot, but comes at a cost. And people can refuse to meet with you, and there's bad stuff that can happen. I don't like having notoriety, but Lubu starts with a lot of it. Okay, so now we need to get one officer to trusting or higher to progress this. We need to get one of Luo Young's facilities to 100 public attitude to progress this, and we need to get an officer whose sympathy with players at least one. We actually have done that, but we need to wait a month before we can progress this. And we still get this. So he is going to give us 7 mission wisdom as a result of this, which is nice. It's just a nice boost. So we've gained some wisdom. Yeah, you gave us it. And it can be used at our home to learn tactics and skills, including infantry and cavalry types. Confirm the type by looking at blah 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 blah. So basically you can get wisdom from other officers, and it depends on what wisdom they know. So yeah, so we've got 7 mission wisdom because of that tale that we just done there. We can now go into learn. We already have hard strike, onslaught, mounted archers, charge, flurry, volley, and far shot, and instigate down here. And now we have 10. We can afford to get one of these: cultivation, commerce, repairs, or science. We're going to get repairs because our leadership is high, and the rest of our skills are really bad. Yeah. So that's that. So that's that. That's all we can do here for now. So now we have to consider about this. So we've started in a scenario where the birth of the anti-Dongzhou coalition has already been done. So now we're in Guan Yu cuts down Xiong. Now we don't have to do this. We can just let this time out, which is why it says 17 months left. So we really don't even need to do this if we don't want to. So it tells you the results. So if we do this tale, Xiong, if they belong to Dongzhou force, dies. So does Zhu Mal if he belongs to the Sunjian force. Fang Yue and Mu Shun will die. Yu Shui, Pang Feng, Bao Zhong all die. Wu and Guo will have serious condition. Guan Yu, his merit will increase, his strength will increase, and so will Changpu. And Lu Bu becomes acquainted with Liu Bei, Guan Yu, Zhang Fei. Xiong dies, and the martial reputation increases for Guan Yu and Chengpu. There's also conditions. It says 10 out of 10, so we can trigger this. So you can see there needs to be a lot of things that are ticked off for this to actually even happen. We are going to try and follow history in this scenario as much as we can. So sorry, Xiong. So they brought their army and advanced to Sishui Gate. We are actually playing as the bad guys, this scenario. Traitors have arrived. Teach them a lesson. Lu Bu wants to go out. Xiong's like, no, I can do this. Just calm down. I've got this. Yeah, he wants to go out and crush them. And Dongsho's like, great, go, Xiong. So Xiong goes out to the coalition and pretty much destroys everybody that he fights. Yuan Shao, the leader of the coalition, is like, hey, can no one stop this guy? Guan Yu's like, yeah man, easy. So Yuan Shao's like, you are literally a nobody. Like, no one knows who you are and we'll be made fun of if we send you out. And Cao Cao is like, are you dumb? Like, Xiong's killing general after general, so why not just send him? Like, he wants to do it, so send him. And Yuan Shao's like, fine, but if you run away, because in that time Guan Yu was a nobody, he was a volunteer, I think. Well, I don't actually know if historically he was, but according to the novel, he was. A lot of the Romance of the Three Kingdoms goes off of the novel rather than actual history, from what I know. So Guan Yu's like, yeah, sure, if I do run, then you can behead me, essentially. And Cao Cao's like, wow, man, this guy's a real good guy. Like, yeah, come drink some wine with me. Guan Yu's like, save the wine, I'll be back in 5 minutes. He goes out and fights Xiong. Xiong's like, I've killed like 6 guys now, I'm gonna kill you easy. And dead. In the novel, he actually chops him in half, I think. And Guan Yu's back for his drink, and the wine is not even cooled. That's definitely a novel thing. But yeah, apparently he went out and killed. It's definitely a novel thing, but for dramatic sake, to show how strong a warrior Guan Yu is. And Guan Yu single-handedly shifted the momentum to coalition, and the army started marching to Luoyang. It's interesting that Chengpu gets a merit increase and a strength increase because he's not mentioned in the tale at all. I think it's because he kills Hu Zhang. But yeah, we've done that, so we've just lost. So they've lost all those officers that that Hu Zhang killed, and we've lost Hu Zhang. Which sucks for us. Hu Zhang is no longer with us. If we look at our officers, he is no longer here. He was here, he's no longer. So that's all the things we can do with Tales at the minute. We need to wait a month before we can do this, if we even want to do this, but I am going to follow the Tales for the most part, unless I've decided I want to do a more fictional kind of scenario. So what will we do? We could, let's explain. We've got the farmland. Yep, we can cultivate, and it goes more smoothly with politics skills. And the more troops you have, the more supplies you need. So we can cultivate. We can also check who is here. So Wang Yong, He Zhen, Zhurong, Zhangji, and Li Ru, these guys are all sat at the farms just now. We can cultivate if we want and try and cultivate land, but that's not our job. And we can inquire, which basically spend some time at the farmland and make them know you, and it raises your public attitude by 10. We can do the same at the workshop. We can do science, raise the city's scientific development, which is focused on intelligence. And once you reach a certain level, you can get a science text, which can be used to make powerful developments, learn new technology. And it's the same thing, check who's here and inquire. And go to the market, and you can do the same thing. Raise commerce, which again, politics. So politics is really a domestic stat mostly. It causes the city's gold to increase, and it's essential for including personnel, marching, and domestic actions. So gold is actually quite important. We can do the same thing: commerce, inquire, see who's here. Dong Zhuo's actually here. And we can also buy things. So if we go here, we can buy 2 treasures if we wanted. And we can also sell items, but we can't sell every item. Some items that we own, like the Crescent Halberd and Red Hair, are not sellable. We've already looked at the tavern and done requests. We done one last time. We've got the same at the garrison. We do public order, inquire officers, and the same at the castle gates.
请听我说.
This requires leadership. So as the defense increases, a city and any defensive buildings will have more durability. Really important to reinforce cities located on the front lines. And we have the palace.
打扰了.
In the palace, you can slander an officer in the city to reduce their loyalty. And if your status is high enough, you can even control the gold in the city's treasury. And if you're a free officer, you can join up with a force at the palace. So I've not really understood the slander. Spread unfavourable rumours about an officer. You can so I could spread a rumour about Zhang Liao and lower his loyalty, but why would I do that to my own force? It doesn't make much sense, but you can do it to other forces, and it's really helpful if you're trying to convince another officer to switch sides. And we've got home, where we can interact with whoever we choose. We can interact with all these people. We can hold a banquet and improve trusts with guests. Maybe I'll do that actually. Let's do that. So let's see. Let's get Dong Zhuo, Li Su, and Hong Wang. Zhang Liao. Let's see, who else do I want? Gao Shun, Zhurong, Zhangji, Fan Shui, Li Ru, and our wife. There we go. So we've got all these people coming for, and we can see how much it will boost. Now, depending on the food, we've only got a little bit of food just now. But if we put average, it raises the atmosphere. So right now it's awkward. If you go average, it goes to normal. If you go to a lot, it goes to lively. It's not quite all the way there, but it's something. Everybody chose to come up. Everyone had a good time. So there we go, we got increased trust with everybody that turned up. At the cost of some money. And we can only do that once a month. We can train, which we've already looked at. Let's actually train here and get our intelligence up by 1. Training, I don't think, is the best way to increase your stats. I've got another way that I use, which I'll show in a bit. We can learn. We don't have any wisdom. We can resign. We can just straight up quit our force and become a free officer. We can rest. So what we'll do just now is we will interact with Zhang Liao. So this is the other thing that I was talking about. I find that discuss is swing and a miss on whether it works. You can also send gifts or practice and duel. Now if we do a practice, we can take them on. So 108 to 93, so we don't need to manually control the duel. Well, actually it looks like we should have, because we lost. Don't know how we done that, but we did, we lost. But if you do that, then you get a good amount of experience, like 50 to 100 experience in either strength or intelligence. So duels and debates are a good way to raise your strength and intelligence, as well as your cultural and martial reputation, as long as you win. And to win, you want to duel and debate people, officers, that are a lower stats than you. So you can go here, Zhang Liao's toughest, then Dong Zhuo, then just go down like this. And for intelligence, you want to do the same thing. But we don't have great intelligence, we only have 29. So we would really be looking at, for intelligence, and debating Gossi or Koyong. Why, you know, like these people. Because these people are people we could probably beat. I mean, we could beat a lot more if we did it, like, ourselves manually. But it's a lot harder when your stats are really low. I find it easier to just try and find somebody that's got lower stats than you and debate and duel them, and then just not automate it, and then it's like a 50-50 if you win or not. Well, not a 50-50, but like it's much quicker than manually doing debates and duels. Okay, so that's us. Do we want to buy anything? I don't think so. Let's call it a month.
但愿能帮上您的忙。
And the game will automatically save, which is fine. Let's look at our tails to begin with. So, Destiny. We will get a symbol of friendship because we have one person who is sympathetic towards us.
很好，很好。
Yep, we can make somebody synergetic. Links will appear between officers who trust each other. So they will come help us when we're doing missions and also come help us in battle.
好好记住了。
You can earn 4 stacks of sympathy at once. I've never had that happen to me. And I've got a lot of hours in this game.
很好。
So now he just wants us to get synergetic with someone. And now he's going to give us another symbol of friendship because we've learned a new tactic or skill.
很好，很好。那么，
And right here he's talking about travelers. He himself is a traveler. These are officers that you cannot employ to any force. They will never join a force, and they will kind of wander around the map. They all have special skills, and you can get good bond of trust with them. They have rare skills and tactics, so it's a good idea for you to get good relations with them. Now this is a lie. It says here, if you give one of these to a traveller or anyone else, a symbol of friendship that is, your relationship will instantly rise to the level of devoted. That is not true. That is a mistake in the game. You need to get them to max trusting before you can give them a symbol of friendship.
很好，很好。
Right, so he's basically saying, hey, learn new tactics, learn new things. So there we go, we've got another symbol of friendship. We still can't do this because we need to wait 3 months after the Guan Yu cuts down Holy Xiong. So let's do more public order.
有事情吧？
可以耽误您一会儿吗？
And that is us. We've got public order to 100 and we got 240%. So we actually did 200%. We doubled what we were supposed to do. So let's end our month. We get a parliament every 3 months. So let's see what we got. Ma Teng has been proclaimed a regional governor.
有事情吧？
Interesting. Why is he proclaimed a regional governor? Because he has Liang. So because he has Jiping and Wu Wei, he has one whole province. He's a regional governor. So yeah, I missed that there. So in here you'll see how everybody did. So Zhang Ji did not do very good at cultivating land. He was meant to get 30, he only got 12. Did really bad at it. We did really good, 240%. So because of that, we get 200 gold. And a privilege. A privilege means that we can... You remember how I said in the last episode that if you make a proposal and the ruler can be like, nah, I don't like that. A privilege makes sure that it happens.
主人，还请留意。
Personnel and military actions. I'm gonna skip you and I'm gonna explain all this. So here we are, we've got a lot of different things we can do here. This is all the same up here. So we have personnel actions.
千万不能跳过哦。这
We can ask, as a common officer, we can only ask to move ourselves. So I can ask to move to Hongnong or Chang'an or Tianshui. If I was a governor or a viceroy or ruler, I could transfer other officers as well. So I could say, we only have 3 officers here, let's take like 3 from here and put them here, kind of thing. You can also employ, so we've got a lot of people about. We can employ from free officers as well as officers who are part of another force if their loyalty goes low enough. You can see Xiong is a free officer in Xiong, and he's really good. He has 74 leadership, really low strength, but high in everything else, so he's a really good officer that we would want.
关于这个，
In the military menu, we can choose to march on a city and attack.
打扰了。
So I can basically be like, hey, Dongzhuo, we should attack Cao Cao and Chen Liu right now. And we would probably win. We have 72,000 troops. He only has 20k. So we could probably invade and win. So another thing is, so see when if I hover over Dongzhuo's forces, you can see that some other forces are highlighted in orange. That indicates that they are in a coalition against us. And if I go over here to Cao Cao, you can see that it's highlighted in purple. That's his allies in the coalition. Note, that is not the same as having an alliance. So if Cao Cao was to attack us here at Luoyang, all the people that are in a coalition would come to his aid. But if we attack him and Chen Liu, Sun Jian will not come and reinforce him, which is dumb. Like, the coalition doesn't come to defend, they only come to attack, which is really dumb, I think. So yeah, that's a bit of an exploit. So even though Cao Cao has all these allies, if he attacks you, you can just attack him, attack him, attack him, and they'll just go one by one away. Done.
也是。
So we also have transport, which basically says, hey, we have 17,000 troops here, what if we had them here? You know, and the same with gold and supplies. We also have trade, we can buy and sell supplies. We can buy supplies and sell them for gold, so it's a good way to get gold and supplies. We can also conscript, which means we can be like, hey, we need more troops, let's go get some. But we have the maximum number of troops already, so we don't need that. We can do science.
让我来说明，这里需要特别注意。
So we can get something like heavy infantry or archers or siege mobility. They all have their own quirks. Like, look, heavy infantry has a lower mobility, but greater defense than light infantry. Heavy cavalry has lower mobility, but higher defense than light cavalry. Typically, you want the higher defense, really, kind of thing. Siege weapons is an important thing to get. And you can revolt, start a rebellion, and create a force to take control of the city. So if we wanted to do this, we'd be like, hey, I want to revolt, and then we can see we have 5 people that support us: Yanxi, Li Su, Zhang Liao, Hong Wang, and Gao Shun. These guys are all like, yeah, I'm with you. These guys are all like, no, screw you. So we would lose that because we have very little officers. If we win, then we would form our own force in Luoyang, and these 5 would join us. If we fail, we either run away or we die. Over here is plots. So this is plots, and then these focus on intelligence mostly. We have Estrange. Now Estrange is basically, take Zhang Miao, we want to spread rumours about him and basically say, hey, this guy's bad, and then his loyalty will drop, and then we will be able to maybe hire him.
果然，
We have Destroy. This is about destroying defences. So you can see that Chen Liu's defence is 786. We want to destroy that and bring it down. And that will make their castle and their defences weaker and easier to take down. We can Provoke, which is about the people in a city. We want, if their security is low, then we can go in and incite the people to rebel. That has its own effects, which is really good. Really good for reinforcement cities.
果然，
And also good for stopping them from getting more troops. Collude. This is the same as Employ, except that we say, hey, during this battle, switch to our side. Defect, essentially. And Spy. This is basically place a spy into this person's unit, and then during the battle that spy will cause havoc and put them into confused. And that's all the plots, and obviously espionage. So I am going to use my privilege to really try and get Xiong because he's a very good officer. So I'm gonna make when you're hiring somebody, because I'm a common officer, I can't pick someone else to go do it for me. I need to say I'm gonna go do this, even if I'm really bad at it. But if I was a tactician or a governor or viceroy or ruler, I could pick from who are all the people in the city. So we want Xiong, I need to go do it. Li Ru is saying it's okay, it's gonna work. So I want to hire him, but I want him to be a high rank because I want him to have more troops. So the higher the rank, the more likely I think they are to join up. But it costs more gold to hire them. And it will obviously cost more gold to keep them on because they're a higher rank. But I think it's worth it because you don't want to hire somebody at rank 9 and they can only take 6,000 troops into battle. It takes a while for them to build their merit up. So if you can get them to rank 6 or rank 5, then that's like 9,000, 10,000, which is a lot better. So I'm going to use a privilege for this.
唯独此事，务必同意。好吧。
And because we used the privilege, Dongshu was like, yeah, absolutely do that. So we're going to go and try and get him. So if he accepts, we'll give him 800 gold straight up and officer rank 6. And he's like, yeah, hell yeah, I'm in.
我有事相告。
And that worked. So now we have Xiong. Privileged personage. Very nice. So that is our first trophy of the game for exercising a privilege. So now if we look, Xiong is here. And he starts out with 99 loyalty, which is good. He's pretty loyal. Which is good. Sometimes when you hire officers, they start out with maybe like 86, 85, which means they aren't too loyal, and you might need to want to boost that by sending them gifts or rewarding them or something like that. But he's quite loyal, so he's pretty much, yeah, okay, I'm happy here. And we only have the one strat point, so that's all we can do. Li Meng conducted espionage, so the other officers in the city will also do their own strategies and propose their own strategies. Okay, so let's see what mission. So Xiong wants to do cultivate land, so does Yurong. They want to do that like because of our supply balance. That's why they're all gravitating towards farming, because our supply balance is going. But if we look at it, one, 2, 3 plus. It's quite a lot. But if you look at it, the people that are doing it, a lot of them are good at it, but some of them are just really bad at it. Like Zhurong, Zhangji, and Gaoshan, they're really bad at cultivating land. They'd be better off doing something else. So I am going to actually apply, because I'd be useless at doing that. So I'm going to ask to do repair. Actually, I'm actually going to ask to not do anything. No, yeah, because it's actually sometimes really helpful to not do missions for a season, because you can do other things. And because we haven't volunteered for something, he's not put us down, but he wants everybody to do cultivate land, and I'd be useless at it. Ah, Dong Huang. Dong Huang is either, I think it's Dong Zhong's brother. So he's telling us information on other cities. So he's saying, hey, there's a guy called Zhang Ji who's in Hong Nong. And if you want to go look at him, you can. I better actually do this right now before I forget. So we can visit other cities. So let's go visit Hong Nong. Now, oh, a bandit encounter. A single bandit has stood in front of Louis Bu. He has obviously never heard the words, do not pursue Louis Bu. You gotta pay 100 gold if you want passage. And what's gonna happen? And he's like, oh my god, it's actually Blue Boo, right, I better go. And we can chase after him. And it gives you an estimate of how roughly your strength should be for this duel. We are obviously going to smash it. And we get 10 martial reputation for winning the duel. And 62 strength experience. That is why I recommend during duels and debates to raise your strength and intelligence, because you get that each time for 20 experience points if you win the duel and debate, compared to maybe 50 for 60. So you can get 20, 40, 60, so you can get triple, you know, it's like way better. And you can also get military wisdom as well, like from it as well. So yeah, we won that duel. We got some more strength experience and some wisdom. And apparently there's a guy here
这里需要特别注意。
called Xiong. He's not here though. You absolutely lied to me, Dong Hong. You really did. What's in the market here? Right, okay, so you see here 1000 for a Naginata, strength +2, but if we buy it, it doesn't change our strength stat. That's because we already have the Crescent Halberd. But if I was to come over here and buy the Chronicles of Lucy, Politics 2, our politics would go up by 2. So we're going to buy that. And we just boosted our stats a little bit. And while we're here, so let's dive into spouse mechanics. So this is our spouse, Yanxi, Lady Yan. So she's not a very good officer. She's really poor on everything apart from charisma, which is slightly decent average. She only has one cavalry tactic and cure. So she's really not a good character to bring to battle or do domestics with. So she's really not good, but she is Louis Boo's wife. You can see the biography there. How accurate the biography is, I'm not entirely sure, but so, as I said before, a male officer can have 3 wives, and a female officer can have 1 husband. The way that spouses work, you will get exclusive events with them where you can get maybe a skill or something like that, but you can also have a child with them. So you can have a child, and then it takes 16 in-game years to raise that child up to where they can actually join the game. And to have a child, you need to discuss with them. You can only have 1 child per wife. So if you discuss with Yanxi, it will be a normal discussion. It was engaging, we had a good time, but we didn't get the special, hey, okay, you're going to have a child. So, but you want to discuss with your wives until you can at least have a child with them. So we'll go to Zhang Liao and we'll try discussing with him. He doesn't really enjoy it, it's dull. I'm going to keep on being your pal though. We're going to do a duel. I should win. No, you win again. Okay, you're really good at these duels. And even though we done the duel and we lost, it still boosts his trust meter. I'm going to request a discussion. Oh, he doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to do it because his favoured reputation is martial. So he prefers duels. So who else do we want to really focus on? Let's go to Gao Shun. And talk to him. And that is going well. We get on. We are engaging. We had a good time. And he's going to invite us to hunt. So yes, sometimes when you discuss with officers and you get on with them, you can get these little extra activities. And that took us all the way up from acquainted to trusting straight away. Gao Shun's an alright character. He's got really high strength and leadership, so he's a good fighter. He's got really good cavalry tactics as well, and good military tactics, so he's actually quite a good character. He's synergetic with Zhang Liao, so he's quite a good character. We want to get him up to devoted and make him our sworn, maybe even a sworn sibling, maybe. But we're going to practice with him, get a duel going. 108 to 88, we should win. We did, we won. And we got 62 experience. The reason we got 62 is because there's a limit. So if you duel somebody, so say you have 100 strength, and you duel somebody that has 2 strength, you're not going to get as much experience and from that duel as if you had dueled somebody who had 99 strength and won. And there's a 19 buffer zone, so if you're at 100, you can duel anybody 19 points below your 100 and get like 100 experience, I think it is. So that's there is like a limited selection of who you want to duel and who you want to debate to get more experience. So we finished that duel, we got that, and we got two things here. We got watermiller lessons. Because we got Xiong to trusting, we can do this.
很好，很
Gained a trusting friend, and in order to link, a friend must be on a battlefield or located within the same facility when carrying out a mission. And the devoted friend can impart their wisdom,
很好
and it raises your tactics and skills to new heights.
原来如此。
And you must gift them a symbol of friendship to a trustworthy friend. You can get symbol of friendships from getting your public attitude to a facility to 100. But Sima Hui gives us quite a lot.
那么，
And once we have somebody who's a devoted friend, he'll come back to us and talk to us again. So we also have a new type of tale. Well, we have a new request here. Bandits on the outskirts, so you can see. To do this, we need to at least have 30 public attitude to start this one. And to do this, our public attitude needs to be, we need to have at least one facility that's got 100, and we also need to be in a force. We also have a new ending, a couple of new tales. We have Ultimate Abomination. For ending tales, let's talk about ending tales. Ending tales are tales where you can actually end the game, end the scenario. Previously, in the old ROTK8, you needed to win the game, you needed to unify China. You don't need to do that in the remake. You can have these mini goals. So like, if we wanted, we could do the Ultimate Abomination ending, which is to eventually raise our notorious reputation to 5,000. And then if we did that, we could then end the game with this ending and get Ultimate Abomination. And it's the same with the Collector, which is collect famous horses, weapons, tombs, and all that. And then these are ways we can end the game. We also have a Warrior Unmatched, which is Marshals. So each of the reputations has their own ending to them. We have Marshal, known to people, because we have 1,000. We can actually get this and known to the world, like straight up, because Luobu starts with such high martial reputation. So he's known to the people, and a young boy recognises him, and he's like, "You're really, really strong." And then our wife is like, "Yeah, you're really, really famous. It's all over town." And we get leadership, strength, and charisma experience, which is great. And we can also straight away do known to world. And Liu Bu's, we've encountered our wife. And how would you feel about taking on a new apprentice? Pupil?
是
Some acquaintances have heard of your skills and want to study under us because we're that famous. So basically everybody's hearing about us and wants to like study under us because we're that strong. And leadership, strength, and charisma go up by 100. So that's really good. So our charisma increased to 37. We got a boost of 2 from that. Really nice. And that's all we can do just now. But that's it for this episode. Thanks very much for being here. When we come back, we'll go into the next month and we'll see what we're doing. That's going to be a very, very long, very, 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 very long Let's Play. It's going to be a long time. Thanks for being here. Hope you're well, and I hope to see you next time. Take care.